Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. This is Petal. Hope you are all doing fantastic. Happy Monday. Oh my goodness. I hope you guys have all been enjoying the photos and videos of our faves in Las Vegas, enjoying Katy Perry. Um, and we've seen, I'm assuming you've all seen the photos. I know I posted one on in our community page. And so I hope that you were able to see them, videos. If you haven't and you'd like to see some videos, let me know. Send me an email, factsand2cents@gmail, and I will send you some links so you can watch it. Again, I'm not putting links in my show notes because I keep getting, keep sending me notes like something wrong with the link or something. And so they've been kind so far and not giving me a strike, but I don't want to push it. So anyway, so I absolutely just love this. I love the fact that nobody knows where they are. They just sort of pop up. And this is what having a private life is like, when you allow people to see you when you want them to see you, and you are going out. And I love this for Harry and Meghan, that they're going out, they're enjoying their life. I mean, look, we have one life to live. Who knows, with the world as crazy as it is, enjoy every bit of it. And they have the means too. I love that. We saw them in Beyonce's concert. We've seen them at basketball, and Harry's been in football and racing and the whole bit. And so now they were actually, I'm assuming they're back home now, in Vegas over the weekend, enjoying Katy Perry's. And the funny thing, and they were actually with Misha Nuno, who is one of Meghan's longtime friends, been friends for years. Misha is a designer who, by the way, when Meghan did her set for SmartWorks, part of the fundraiser that they were doing for that, the Smart Set collection, Misha designed the white shirts, really cool white shirts, which I have never worn, and I cannot find the shirt. I'm like, look everywhere for the shirt. I don't know what maybe I gave it away and just wasn't paying attention, but I was looking for it. I'm like, I never even wore the shirt. And I don't have it. I don't see it anywhere. So who knows where that shirt is, but Misha was part of the Smart Set collection for SmartWorks. And actually Harry and Meghan in 2019 went to her wedding in France. So they have been great friends. And so Misha and her husband were there with Harry and Meghan, with, I guess, other people. It looks like other people who were sitting, I guess the gentleman on the side of them, and then the people in the back. It looked like they were all part of like a same crew or something, because they were talking to each other, at least from the videos that I saw, they were like talking to each other throughout the time. So hey, they look like they had a great time. I've seen videos of Meghan dancing and Harry sort of moving. There were a whole bunch of different ones. So yeah, they look like they had a great time. And the gentleman in the picture on the right, the gentleman there, I didn't see his face, but some in the squad seem to think that that's Katy Perry's dad. Meghan is actually holding his hand there, based on the jewelry he's wearing. So you know how squaddies are, they can pick this stuff out of him. I don't know how they do it, but some of them are able to pick the stuff out. I would never have noticed. Apparently they took a photo with him when they did their fundraiser at Kevin Costner's place for the first responders, Santa Barbara. And so they said that it looked like the same person. And obviously they know him. Meghan is holding his hand there. So it was really great if that's her dad, because, they spent time together at the fundraiser, and now he's there. And of course, they were in the VIP section. And as they're walking by, that's Celine Dion, they're walking by there. They were actually sitting in the same VIP section, just on a different side of the VIP section. So Celine Dion was there, and I'm so happy to see her up on her feet. And she was having some medical issues. She had to put her concert. I think she also has a gig there in Las Vegas, but she's had to put it on hold because of some medical issues that she is having. And the funny thing about this is I had no idea. I had no idea Katy Perry was doing this thing in Las Vegas. I realized, like, I used to like Katy Perry's music, and all of a sudden I forgot about Katy Perry. Or maybe she just have not actually been doing anything, and maybe I don't know, I'm like, all of a sudden was like, oh yeah, Katy Perry. I forgot about her. I don't know why. And I think probably part of it is, she had said some shady stuff about Meghan, which I know some squatties were a little bit upset that Meghan and chose to go to this concert based on some shady stuff she said about Meghan's wedding dress and maybe other things. And then obviously she was at King Charles's coronation thing that really nobody asked for, coronation, and performed and stuff like that. And and she's also an ambassador for one of King Charles's other causes. Like she's like an ambassador for, I think it's like South Asian group. And I remember when we found out, it's like, oh, I didn't know Katy Perry was South Asian, but okay. But anyways, so yeah, some squatties were a bit upset that Meghan went there. And I think my thing about that is like, look, I am not going to fight battles Meghan is not fighting. She doesn't have a problem with it. She flew from her house in Montecito all the way to Las Vegas to go to her concert and support her. So obviously they don't have an issue. I don't even know if Meghan knows what Katy Perry says. And if she did, maybe they reconciled. I don't know. I mean, if she did and they reconciled, it's all good. I mean, that's what you want in relationships. We've all done and said things that we maybe regret that we said or may have hurt someone. And it's always great when they're able to maybe talk through things and work it out and sort of rebuild that trust again. It is not easy. It's, it's hard and it's painful and all of those things, but that's what life and relationships is about, right? If it's broken, the goal is not to keep it broken. The goal is to reconcile. And so so if that happened again, I don't know, that's what I'm thinking. If it happened and maybe they had this conversation, I know Harry has always been a friend with Katy Perry's husband Orlando Bloom, so again, that could have been resolved, or maybe they just never had an issue with each other, and maybe Katy Perry just said something flippant to I don't know. But whatever it is, Meghan doesn't have an issue, so I'm not going to be fighting back. That's stupid and a waste of my time to be fighting a battle she is not fighting and going to support the person. They could be, probably hanging out by the pool and enjoying each other, and I would be over here being upset. I'm just like, why? Don't bother. I have other things to be worrying about. So, but anyways, I'm happy they went, and again, they look like they had a great time. And that's what we love about our faves, right? We just want them to enjoy their life, whatever it is they're doing, whether it's home in Montecito or in Vegas or in Austin, Texas for racing or wherever they are. We just want them to be enjoying each other, enjoying their family, just having a great life. And of course, as you know, these are our faves. So, by the way, welcome to Facts and Two Cents. These are our faves. And so, we are very, very biased about them and very petty. So don't go attacking our fave. We're all about Harry and Meghan and their whole family and us here at Sussex Squad, as you know. And these are some more photos again. Oh, that's a better picture of Celine on the left there. And so hopefully she had a great time. And that's Katie on the stage there. And again, it's so funny. Hello, I completely forgot about Katy Perry. The last time I think I saw Katy Perry was in a video on YouTube, and it was, what is the show she's on? America's Next I forgot. Either America's Got Talent or American Idol. One of them she's on. And that was the last time I saw anything from her. It was a video, I don't even know what year it was, that she was on that show with some other people. I don't remember who they are. Oh, Lionel, what am I saying? Lionel Richie and the other guy. I think he sang country and western or something. I don't know what his name is. But that was the last time I saw a video clip on YouTube. And so again, so my surprise that she has been doing this gig in Vegas, and I don't know how many people outside of Vegas knew. I sure didn't. And then of course that's Harry and Meghan on this side. Meghan, it looks like she's talking to one of the people in the back of her, which you saw a lot of, they were all like conversing with the people in the back of them as well. Don't know who the guy in the white is. He was talking to Harry and Meghan as well. I saw a video of him talking to them. So it seemed like they have a great big team out there in Vegas, and of course their security was there. I saw a video of the security standing there waiting for the show to start, so people don't go bothering them. But it's very funny I don't know if you guys have seen the video when they came in, everyone's head just sort of turned in their direction, and everybody sort of pulled out their phone and taking photos. And it was just definitely a buzz when they arrived. And it seemed like they arrived sort of the same time with Celine. So people were also like gawking at Celine as well. It's like, oh my gosh, I saw videos like, there she is, and it was Celine. So but I hope that Celine comes back to singing, whatever it is, the challenges that she's gone through. I hope that she comes back to singing soon. So yeah, so they seem to have had a great time, and we are just very happy about that. Yeah, our faves. Just keep living, just keep doing all the fun things you've been doing. We love you for it, Harry and Meghan. And oh, here's some more pictures of them and Harry. I love Harry. Harry has one of those looks in this photo. It looks like it's like, okay, I'm ready to go to sleep now. Enough, Katie. And of course, that's Megan and Misha on the other side of the photo there. But it's so funny. But we've seen enough videos of Harry. He was sort of moving. I don't want to say dancing because it was sort of more moving. And there are pictures of him videotaping Katie on stage and just, laughing and talking with Meghan and the people around them. So they again seem to have had a fantastic, fantastic time. So kudos to them. Anyway, what else is happening? Oh yes, this is actually, it's so funny when I was not even going to cover royal tour to Kenya at all, and then a couple of stuff happened where the British press has been reporting that it was such a success, but then a couple of stuff has sort of leaked out from Kenya after the tour. And, we've talked about this, and we talked about this ad nauseum about what Kenya should be doing to make their, presence felt, and made sure that the royals know what they expect. Well, I mean, first of all, they shouldn't have invited them there or allowed them to come in there for the tour. Yes, as a tourist, yes, come and pay your own way. But to do these royal tours, we never thought that was a good idea. And if they were doing it, definitely the Kenyan people, after the kind of history they've had with the royals as a colony, they should have been out there protesting because, before, as we said before, the King Charles and Camilla got there, they had already said they weren't apologizing. So obviously the speech went down and he didn't apologize. He acknowledged the situation, but never apologized. So they are gone now back to the UK, back to their palaces, and people of Kenya have now back to reality now that they've had their magic fairy royal dust sprinkled on them. And so now they're starting to gripe. And it's just like, And so when I first saw a post about Kenya, I literally was so harsh and blunt. I was like, you deserve every slap they give you. I literally tweeted that. And then I deleted it because I was like, okay, mercy and grace here. I think the people of Kenya are still in the mindset, a lot of them, not everyone obviously, but a lot of them are still in this colonialism mindset. And it's just like, your mind is still colonized. And so you behave like you're still in a colony. And it was just so frustrating seeing any video or anything. It's just, again, it's exactly what they do in these royal tours. They go, they soak up the culture, they eat the food, owe people money. The country has to pick up all their huge security tab and all of that stuff. And then they don't apologize. They don't, they have no plans for reparation at all in any sense of the word. And then they leave. And so we knew this was going to happen. And of course, we knew the griping will start. And sure enough, here we are. And so this was in one of a Kenyan newspaper, I guess. It says, sorry. Sorry really seems to be the hardest word for some head of state. And even the taxman have had to say it. Will Charles? Brits can over-apologize for non-issues, but never for their misdeeds. Interestingly, Charles, King of British, who are famous for how frequently they say sorry, of course, he will never say sorry. And you sort of drawing sir, maybe not. And so it's just, that's been the attitude. And I think this is very good, very good description of what it is. They apologize for the nonsense stuff, but the things that matter, the things that they can be held accountable to, they will never apologize. Why? Because one, they don't think you're human. They don't look at you as a person. You are a thing, you're an object and a prop to use when they need to try to prove to the world they're not racist. It's just what it is. And yeah, and I guess in my next episode, I saw an article where it talks about the really reason why he was there is that it's basically to benefit the UK because of some investments the UK is now doing in Kenya. And of course, like I said in earlier episodes, when they go on these tours, it's not to benefit the nation that they're going, the people whose food and culture they soak up and take, they're going to take. That's why they're going. It's not to benefit the people they're going to. So I don't ever understand why people are bowing down to these people. They seem to have not gotten the point that these royals are not there for them. They're not there to bring you and give you anything. They're there to take from you. It's their culture, it's their pattern. And so no sooner did that happen, and they finished their tour and left, then we had this come out. This reporter, Mwangi Maina, posted this long thread on Twitter about some misdeed and mistreatments towards the press from the Kenyan, the UK and Kenya, which is the ambassadors for the UK and Kenya. Their office, an ambassador or from their office, badly mistreated some of the Kenyan reporters. And so there's been a bit of gripe about it. So this reporter posted this long thread about it. And so I'm going to read some of it. Kenyan journalists have complained of being racially mistreated and segregated during King Charles III 4-day visit to the country. They complained that the segregation started from transportation to being fed leftovers and stale sandwiches. I'm going to read some of, it's a little bit lengthy, but I'm going to read some of the posts. It's this long thread that Mwangi Maina from Kenya posted. She says, multiple Kenyan-based journalists have raised concerns about the racial undertones during the royal visit. Those who I have spoken to say that they were mistreated and felt degraded in their own country, a sovereign country, so to say. He goes on to say, and not receiving proper meals despite Kenyan taxpayers partly funding this high-level visits. Organizers at UN in Kenya, which is the ambassadors, the UK ambassadors in Kenya, organizers at UK in Kenya allegedly separated local journals from Kenya and the UK, drawing criticisms and claims of racial discrimination. The controversy began when 3 separate buses were designated for journals, 2 for royal editors, correspondents, and photographers from the UK, and another one for Kenya-based colleagues. I was among the accredited to cover the visit. The buses were labeled UK media and local media. This raised eyebrows as it appeared to segregate journalists based on their nationality and color. Colleagues have expressed displeasure about unequal treatment they received. I choose to drop all the frustrations of the colleagues here because you're unlikely to find it in any local television or publication. I can no longer defend the Kenya media. Colleagues in Nairobi woke up early in the morning and met at Radisson Blue Uphill for 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday. They were arranged under the Route 1, Route 2. No breakfast, water, lunch for Kenyan-based journalists. At UK in Kenya was distributing packed food. He goes on to say the Britons received preferential treatment during meal times, despite the Kenyan and UK teams agreeing on distribution of food equally. The issue is not about food or water, but contempt. In one incident, some Kenyan-based journalists were not provided lunch, only to be offered a few leftover boxes later. Upon opening, they discovered stale sandwiches, unwrapped cake papers, and used toothpicks. This was and is disgusting. The situation escalated almost a week before the royal visit, when senior officials from UN in Kenya created a WhatsApp group for Kenyan-based media. The platform was intended to gather all accredited colleagues to cover the royal tour. However, Administrators from the group from UN Kenya initially enforced restrictions. Only admins can send messages that prevented journalists from engaging on any discussions. My personal opinion is that was an outright gag. The restrictions raised concerns about media freedom, and it prompted me to challenge the head of communication at UK in Kenya whether the restrictions amounted to a gag order on Kenyan-based media. She told me that she did that to streamline communication. 2 or 3 hours later, the settings was changed and all participants were able to chat. Colleagues did ask pertinent questions regarding the visit. Nobody sent their personal images or anything unrelated. Someone tried to choke us and it should never have happened. He goes on to say, hours before Charles arrived at the State House in Kenya, an incident involved a senior Kenyan diplomatic figure and a UK and Kenya diplomat hinted at behind-the-scenes friction. The UK diplo was allegedly involved in a confrontation with a Kenyan envoy over press photographers. Witnesses claim that the UK and Kenya diplomat engaged in a physical altercation with the Kenyan envoy, who played a part in making this visit a success, seemingly over his placement, which she believes was obstructing coverage of the royal visit. The envoy is a known media figure. I'm saying this because without his input and back-channel diplomacy, this visit wouldn't have happened. While details surrounding the confrontation remain somewhat unclear, this incident that disgusted many journalists and Kenyan state officials suggested that there may have been tensions or disagreements beneath the surface of the carefully orchestrated royal visit to Kenya. I have engaged the Kenyan diplomat on the confrontation. He told me that she was just trying to get a line of sight for the press and photographers. Very diplomatic reply. Going on, he said, I have also engaged multiple state officials who registered their displeasure with the UK and Kenyan official for mistreating senior and junior Kenyan government officials. Another unusual incident unfolded at the Nairobi Karioscope Cemetery, involving the said UK and Kenya diplomat and a group of 3 individuals, 2 military officers linked to Defense Press Unit and a civilian journalist. According to multiple sources, the foreign diplomat confronted the trio at the cemetery and insisted that they relocate to predetermined fixed positions. There were 2 categories, press pool and fixed positions. Despite the individuals' attempts to identify themselves, it appeared that the UK and Kenya diplomat paid little heed to their explanations. One source said it was either her way or the highway. The source noted the diplo was resolute in her demand. She informed the 3 that they were on Commonwealth grounds, thus subject to particular regulations. According to the source, she even threatened to enlist palace guards to forcibly remove them if they did not comply. This incident raised questions and concerns among those who witnessed it. Some observed that the UN and Kenya diplomat seemed to suggest an air of superiority, as if the rules governing the British Commonwealth could be imposed on Kenyan soil. It left many individuals, including military officers, feeling concerned and disrespected. This visit was also not without its share of intriguing moments and curious decisions by both Kenyan and British officials. And I just thought that was very interesting. It goes on for quite a bit. It talks about, for example, the carpet and Omid Scobie's response and all of that stuff. It goes into all of those things. But I just wanted to just highlight a few parts that he mentioned, and with the segregation of the buses, and also the treatment of the Kenyan reporters and the UK reporters, and they were rightly concerned. They said, they had two buses for reporters. It should have just been reporters, but they separated the British ones, which is predominantly white. They had one black reporter there from GMB. So they had one black reporter, but it was 99.999% white. And they separated from the black reporters from Kenya. That was one big problem. And again, they should have understood optics. I mean, no, the public is not going to see it, but they should have anticipated that reporters were going to speak about that, especially in this heightened situation. But I guess the UN in Kenya diplomat, who seemed to be having issues with just about everyone, they thought otherwise. And apparently, as Mwangi was saying, that they had decided that they were, I guess they were staying at the place for 2 days, and they decided how they were going to do food and all of that stuff. And the British reporters, they got fed, they got their breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever it is, breakfast and lunch, whatever. And the Kenyans didn't. And then when they finally, especially that lunch that they were describing, when they finally gave them food, it was stale sandwich, unwrapped cupcake papers, and somebody's used toothpick. And so obviously they gave them boxes of leftovers from whether it's the British reporters or whomever else they got these boxes from. That's what they gave to the Kenya. And that is a huge problem. Again, the disrespect, the looking at, and again, this is the reason why when that St. Vincent reporter, opposition reporter, he said, do not welcome these people into your country. Whether it's those UK and Kenya diplomats or the royal family, do not welcome them in your family. Do not welcome them in your country. Do not eat with them, shake their hands, smile with them. Don't. And every step they walk on, they need to know that they are walking on a crime scene created by their ancestors. He was a very good, and I would never forget that. And that should have been the standard throughout. Again, we've talked about this crazy red carpet nonsense that Kenya did. Part of me, why I put that harsh tweet, was like, you deserve the slap you got. You know what you were getting into. You went ahead and you went falling prostrate, kissing these people's feet. What do you expect them to do? They don't see you as people. They don't see you as worthy of a respect. They don't see you as worthy of an apology. Definitely don't see you as worthy of reparation. They don't even see you as human beings. That is who these people are. They're not going to change it, and they're certainly not going to change it while you fall prostrate before them. That's never going to happen. And so I am not surprised by any of this at all, in any sense of the word, because these people are, yes, they're not outwardly colonizers, but their minds are still that way. They still think of it that way. They still think of Black people as their property. They still think of African countries as their property, aka William. No, Africa is mine. As if the whole continent of Africa is a toy for him to play with. This is how they think. Black people in Africa and African countries are just their toys to play with whenever they want to play with something. And so I am not surprised at the segregation. Again, that's how they operate. That's how they operate. And so obviously the Kenyan reporters are like, look, this is segregation. This is wrong. And then the food situation, that was horrible. I mean, I can't imagine opening up what you think is your lunch. First of all, they didn't give you lunch. And then when they finally give you something, it's somebody's leftover with a nasty used toothpick. I mean, hello. So there was that. And then this the same UK and Kenya diplomat, and turned out it was a woman, as we later found out, that got into a physical altercation with someone, with another diplomat there, a Kenyan diplomat, and it's just like, okay, So I'm assuming there may have been some pushing stuff. The Kenyan one was sort of like sort of more of a peacemaker. It's like, oh no, maybe she just wanted, oh no, she just wanted the sight line, whatever, for the people who were recording. So whether it is that she may have pushed him out of the way or whatever, but it was an altercation that made everyone around upset. And not only that, Mwangi also said that that she was mistreating junior and senior diplomats there. And it's just like, oh my goodness, it's being personal. It's like a little stark raving there, isn't she? And it's just, again, I am not surprised that happened at all. And this is the part that really was like, wow, it sort of drove home this whole experience for the journalists who are already seeing the fact that they were segregated and treated as less than. And then this part is the part that got me was at the cemetery when the two military person and the reporter was trying to explain who they were to this same diplomat, UK and Kenya diplomat. They did not want them to stand where they were standing. I'm assuming that was the time when King Charles was there and I guess gave them, I don't know, medals or something. I saw a photo of him. It looked like he was giving a medal to a former soldier, I guess, who was sitting in a wheelchair. And I'm assuming that's probably the same event and so they're saying that 3 people were standing where I guess she didn't feel like they should stand. And her response to the whole situation when they tried to explain to it, the bottom it says, despite the individuals attempting to identify themselves that they were military, it appeared that the UN and Kenya diplomat paid little heed to their explanation. One source said it was either her way or the highway. The source noted the diplo was resolute in her demand. She wasn't asking, she was demanding. She informed the 3 that they were on Commonwealth grounds, thus subject to a particular regulations, and then threatened them to enlist the palace guards if they didn't move. I mean, that is when you know that you're in a country where these people in Kenya that's supposed to be the liaison between Kenya and the UK, that's supposed to be bringing the best face of the UK to Kenya, and you realize that they are literally there colonizing your country. If this doesn't alarm you to let you know, like, there is something seriously wrong in the thinking for you to be in a country, a republic, and has the mindset of we're on Commonwealth grounds and there are particular regulations at a cemetery in Kenya that you think that the Commonwealth and whatever their protocols are have jurisdiction and that they have rule over a Republic of Kenya. For you to even have that thought, you know where these people's mindsets are, that they have never stopped being colonizers. They really literally think of Kenya as a colony, and they behave that way, and they treat the Kenyan people that way. And even the audacity to even threaten them that he was going to call the palace guards on these people whose country it is that she is in, that she felt the audacity and the boldness to talk about she's going to call the palace guards. Like, hello? To throw people out of a cemetery or move them out of a cemetery in their own country when you are the visitor? Again, colonizer mentality. It is unbelievable. I just... And that's the thing with Kenya is if you don't understand this, we've talked about conservation in Kenya. Prince William's former girlfriend, Jekka Craig, her family have this huge conservation there. Mind you, her father used to be one of those people that used to kill elephants and all of those things, and all of a sudden has realized that, oh, wait a minute, instead of killing them, I could make money off of them. Got all this property that's Kenya's land and that the Kenyan people should be enjoying, has all this property as this big safari out there in Kenya. And apparently, and I need to go back and really research this, but apparently what I'm understanding is UK military. Why does the UK have a military base still in Kenya? I will never understand. But they have a military base still in Kenya. And their militaries who guard that conservation. So the people of Kenya, whose property it is, can't have access to that. No, but because they need to, invite their rich friends from Europe and the UK to come to their safari, while the people in the community can't really access it, even though sometimes they're like, oh no, we're here for the community. My thing has always been with these conservation, this is modern day colonialism, because you see a lot of these conservation thing all around Africa run by white people who colonize this huge property with all the animals and stuff, and all the people in the community don't benefit from it because it's there for their rich friends to come to a safari, hang out with some animals, and pay thousands of dollars. He figured out how to make money instead of killing the animals, but to use them to make money off of them. That is Jackie Craig's family. In, I think, his gap year, Prince William was there. Prince Harry was also there spending time. They're all there. That's where they learned conservation. That's how they got into conservation. And so for me, even though I support Harry as a board member of Africa Parks, they do something different, and unless they do something, unless that changes in the future, I still kind of side-eye even Africa Parks, because again, I'm sorry, white people owning or controlling land in Africa always gives me pause. Even Africa Parks, I've said this before. But I trust, I trust Harry at his heart of what he and his vision of the people in the community definitely benefiting from Africa Parks, and they manage it for 20 years and then give it back to the country. They don't own it for a lifetime. They just manage it, make sure it's up and running and doing great, and it feeds the community around it in many ways, and then they hand it back to the country that allow them to manage it. So I like that, because they're not, but this in Kenya is Jackie Craig's family's conservation thing that they're doing there. And so for me, again, with all of these popping up all over, that is for me modern day colonialism. And in Kenya especially, I don't understand how this Kenyan government, why am I saying I don't understand? This is the same government and who previous to him, who have allowed these British and European people to come in and take up all their lands. This is the same president who was basically groveling to the royal family that he's so grateful that they chose Kenya to come and sprinkle their fairy dust, and oh, how thankful we are that the royals could come and visit. So when you see that, you realize that this man's mind is still, his mind is colonized. And so they haven't gotten out where they can see okay, no, this is not going to be acceptable. Again, why is he allowed there to be, after the history of the British in Kenya, why would anyone who is leading that country allow the Britain to have a military base in Kenya? And not only that, a few years ago, one of the soldiers in one of those bases killed a Kenyan girl. And to this day, nobody has been charged or anything, even though there are videos of one of the officers confessing that one of his mates confessed to him that he killed the girl and put her in a septic tank in right there in their community. And nobody has been charged, nothing. And the Kenyan government seems to, sort of let it go. And we did an episode where I read a letter from the niece of the lady that I think her name was Agnes Wanjiru. Her niece was like, King Charles needs to come and visit the family. He needs to make an effort to make sure that the person who killed my aunt will get justice and all of those things. And I commented, I was like, why do you want to meet? They have already shown you that they don't care. The fact that they're not even apologizing. They told you they're not going to do it. They don't care. Why would you want this person in your house? Why would you want to bring him knowing that he doesn't care about you? He doesn't care about your family. They will come and shake hands and all of that stuff. But the reason they're there is not for you. And in the next episode, I'll get about that investment thing, about how going to Kenya benefited the UK. And it just... So again, coming back to this, I am not surprised about any of this stuff. Of course, we've seen it. We've talked about it. We knew exactly what was going to happen because Kenya has allowed it. And again, people are going to treat you how you allow them to treat you. I mean, in certain cases, obviously, we see a different situation, for example, in Palestine, who they are literally hostages. So they don't have a choice in how they are treated. They are hostages in a situation where they're, we gone through all the things that this apartheid terrorist state of Israel are doing to the people of Palestine. This is very different. Kenya is free, but in their minds, they're still hostages. In their minds, they're still colonized. In their mind, they're still colony. And they haven't gotten out of that. And this ridiculous red carpet and stairs is proof of that. And again, for someone, a diplomat from the UK who's supposed to bring the best face forward to to Nigeria, to Kenya, for her to have this mindset and to even say it out loud that they're on Commonwealth grounds, and again, brings me back to the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth, one, it's an insult. It's a slap in the face. It's gaslighting. It is a useless organization there so that the royal family could maintain control of their former colonies, as we've seen here. It is of no value to anyone else but the UK and the royal family. That is how they maintain their power over these countries. And especially the ones where he's still head of state, which is about 15 of them. This Commonwealth of nations need to go. There is no commonality. There is no, he wants to say, oh, there's camaraderie. But around what exactly? When you have all the money, you have all the power, you have everything, and the rest of the people have basically nothing. And so it is not then surprising that this diplomat from the UK would be standing on Kenyan soil and telling them on their own country at a cemetery, no less, for, I'm assuming, a war cemetery for wounded, veterans who obviously have passed, for that to even be a thought and for that to even come out of her mouth, that they're on Commonwealth grounds, and if they don't move, she will call in the palace guards. I mean, hello. And so Mwangi said that incident raised questions and concerns among those who witnessed it. Some have observed that the UN and Kenya diplomat seemed to suggest an air of superiority, as if the rules governing the British Commonwealth could be imposed on Kenya. So obviously it can. Obviously, talk about an understatement. It seemed to be. She seemed to suggest an air of some. She is superior. That's what she's telling you. She is literally telling you she is better than you. She's superior to you. She has more power than you. And if you get in her way, she will stick the royal guards on you. And then you'll have to do it because the royal guards have power over you in your own country. She's literally telling you that. And so I'm like, it's not seem to be. She's literally did that. But again, it's just, this is a reason you don't invite these people into your country. There's a reason you don't shake their hands. There's a reason you don't sit down and let them eat your food, soak up your culture, all of those things. It's a reason that you don't. That you remind them, if they're coming to your country, that they are walking on ground that is a crime scene, that their ancestors created that crime scene. And you don't if they're coming to these kind of visits, you don't let them in until they're ready to apologize and come with a payment plan. Preferably they come with money and a payment plan, or the answer is no. So if you go ahead and you sit there and bow down to them and they treat you like this, then it's your fault. Your press, again, this guy is a reporter, you in the press needed to have really made us think about this. But you sat and you didn't do anything, and everybody going, oh, let's go cover the royal visit. We've seen things where people are like, oh, it was great. We love having them here and all of that stuff. In the last episode, we had a reporter. He had a different experience. He just loved that. They were having a great time. Said they were down to earth, having a great time. They were happy they were there. But then you have these situations. And so I'm not surprised at all. This is the least surprising thing because, again, you're not people to them. They don't think you're worthy of anything. You're a prop to them, and you always are. And you have got to train your mind to get out of this colonial mentality or this colonized mentality. Again, in this case, they're going to treat you the way you want, the way you allow them to treat you. Little Belize made us think out of them. They had to cancel their, William and Kate had to cancel their time at this little community, this Mayan community, I think it was called, that they were going there. They made us think. They're like, no, we don't want you here. And they had to change it. So if that little community, if the little group in South Africa who screamed on Queen Maxima and King Willem's head in South Africa could get out there and do it, why didn't the Kenyans? Again, a colonized mind. Anyways, moving on from that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to our awesome moderators, Church Nelly, Lydia, Karen M, Cookies and Cream, Black Queen. If anybody has an update on Church Nelly, I would love an update on Church Nelly. Please let us know. Hopefully she is doing better. I know that she has gotten home and she's recovering. So if anyone has an update, it would be really, really awesome to share it. Thank you to our awesome 2 Cents crew who support the channel on a monthly basis. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your support. I'm just going to move that banner so that way we see everyone. And thank you so much to all of our Gold Soul supporters who support in the chat with donations or super stickers and all of those. Thank you all so much. And those of you who support via PayPal and Cash App, I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So anyways, if you are new here and haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Click the notification bell so you know when we drop a video. Like and share the video and help us build our community. And if you're able, join the channel. So thank you guys. Have a fantastic day, and I will catch you later. Bye.